Hi, this is Zach Anderson, and in this video I will be going over problem 6 of coding problem set 4, the word game. So finally, we are at one of the final stages here. So we see that a game consists of playing multiple hands. We need to implement one final function to complete our word game program. So we need to write code that implements the play game function, and you should remove the code that is currently uncommented in the play game body. Read through the specification and make sure you understand what this function accomplishes. For the game, you should use the hand size constant to determine the number of cards in a hand. So let's head over to the code here and see what I did. Here we have our function of play game, which passes in one parameter of word list. We have a few more instructions here. So allow the user to play an arbitrary number of hands. So we need to ask the user to input N, R, or E, each of which have a corresponding command. So N will let the user play a new random hand, R will let the user play the last hand, and then if the user inputs E, it's going to exit the game. Anything other than these three letters right here, it should print out a error message saying that there is some sort of invalid input. And when done playing the hand, repeat from step 1. First, we're going to call the deal hand function. This is going to give us our random letters based on the hand size parameter that we pass in here. Then we're going to use a while loop. So while this is true, then we're going to prompt for user input. So this is where we're going to ask the user to enter N, R, or E, each explaining their corresponding commands. So N for new hand, R for reuse, and E to exit the game. So if the user input is not one of these three letters, or any combo of the two, which is why we're using the length of user input being greater than 1, so they can't try NR or something weird like that, then this is when it's going to print out an invalid input. So if they try to enter anything other than these three or a string bigger than 1, then it's going to do this. Otherwise, then we get to our else statement, and this is where we're going to code those specific letters. So if the user input is equal to this E right here, then this will break the program. As we saw above, it's supposed to exit the game. Then we have an else if statement that will go over the letter N, and this will then again call the deal hand because this N is supposed to give a new random hand. So we're basically just starting over from this step right here every time that N is entered. And since there's only one other command left, we don't need to do anything else because we can just go straight to calling the function of play hand. Now that we have implemented all the functions in the first PS4A file, we can now come down here and test and see exactly how this game works. So everything should be connected. We see that we load in the Word text file perfectly, and initially we are prompted with 3 different options, N, R, and E. So if we want to try N here, we're going to see that we're provided with a list of random letters. So we can try the word jaw. And we see that jaw earned 39 points, and then it's going to also update our total score. If we want to exit out of this, we need to hit period. And it again shows us what our total score is going to be. If we want to see if the R function works, we should get the exact same hand as above, UAK, HHWJ. We see that we do, so we can then exit that. And then if we hit E, that should stop the program entirely, which it does. So now that we know that we have implemented everything correctly, and we are good to move on to the final step.